Yes. Okay, so let's get started. So last time, any question for me at this moment? Have you tried to do that homework we talked about? Okay, let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's spend a couple of minutes on understanding what all it includes in terms of cybersecurity plan, right? And then we'll have a look at the homework. We'll try to understand your idea, the idea evolution, and all those things, right? Just take a minute, take a kind of a review thing, right? So here we start our security plan with identifying key asset and threats. So first, properly, be it an individual cybersecurity plan, be it a corporate security plan, we normally start with identifying our key assets. Like the way we try to address our home security, we try to address our own personal security, right? Whatever critical, like whenever you travel, your wallet on your trousers or your wallet in your purse is basically the most critical thing because you carry those credit cards, some of the bills, whatever you like to spend, right? And that's a normal scenario. And then the next one is basically, or might be important to someone, is a smartphone. Whatever you're carrying in terms of smartphone, iPhone, Samsung, this, that, and other, you try to protect that because quite a few smartphone now you normally use the payment card gateway like Paytm, and then various others basically depending upon that. So you try to identify the key assets and try to identify key threats as your smartphone has a larger threat than your pocket. So you try to protect your smartphone with some better care rather than just the wallet. The other way to look at it, if your wallet fall down, you can pick it up without any loss as such. Well, if it's a water or a rainy day, then yes, you might want to kind of careful bit more. But overall, if the wallet fund falls down, nothing goes wrong. But if the smartphone falls down, you might damage the screen and all those things. So you apply some protective cover to your smartphone and all those things. Is that right? Means, could you understand what I'm trying to say here? We are trying to prioritize our asset first and then build our thought process of protecting our asset, and that's how we do it. So the first step is identify the key assets and threats. Are you with me? Could you
yes,
understand what? Yeah, perfect, perfect. Then we move to prioritize a scenario where, as we just discussed, we apply these security measures in a difference of priority. So my wallet is not that prior, even if it has cash, credit cards, might be costlier than my smartphone or vice versa. So I try to protect my smartphone a bit more than my wallet, and that's how progressively I prioritize asset risk and threats. Now risk, as I told you, in terms of getting wet. If my wallet got wet, most probably it's a leather cover or plastic cover or something like that, right? So it takes care of its own in terms of either weight or some sort of impact to these hard surface like road, soil, or something like that. But when it comes to smartphone, I need to take some extra care to understand if my smartphone falls down. I might put my leg between so that it will not impact the ground very, with the biggest crash or something like that, right? So that's how I build this priority without knowing it. And this is within ourselves. This is how we brought up. This is how our culture guide us in terms of identify key assets, then prioritize the asset risk and threats. And these are the first two steps we take. Then set achievable goal. Set achievable goal is basically more towards the planning. How do you plan? So you go a step ahead and try to understand my wallet should be wrapped in polythene, in the plastic cover in case if I'm walking down on the road in a rainy season or something like that. So that if I fall down, even my smartphone, I have these polyethylene covers for my smartphone in the days of winter, in the days of rainy season, and so on and so forth. That's how I plan some achievable goal. I start planning ahead. Similarly, with the organizations, I do identify these assets. I do address the risk, threat priorities. Then I set achievable goals in terms of, so what are the things I need to protect? Yeah, I need to protect my office first. So I'll have a compound wall. I'll have some motion sensor camera where if anybody steps in, I can capture his or her photo, be it an animal, human being, or anybody for that matters. And then Depending upon the area where my office is, I try to build more secure wall, or try to address some fencing on the wall, and so on and so forth. Then I try to set some achievable goals, like patrol these wall, might be once in an hour, once in a 2 hour. Again, depending upon the threat, risk, and priorities, I do set up these achievable goals. Then I document my policy, because I'm not the only one, right? Everybody within my office, within my premises, has some sort of a contribution towards security. So what I do, I normally ask them, see, this is our policy. Do you want to add anything? Do you want to modify anything? Somebody might have a better suggestion, and we might implement that as well. And then we build some sort of a policy. Policy, we talk about a documented plans, where we decide, with this office I'll have 6 motion sensor camera. With this office I might have 3 guards patrolling around the hour, so that they keep circling my office, they keep circling my home. Depending upon the way I come up with the policy, I try to implement them. And this implementation give me a set of confidence, like understanding, yes, I'm going in the right direction. Yes, anybody have any question for me? Please go ahead, sir, madam. No problem. Hi, welcome Aditya. I believe this is your first session, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hi, welcome to cybersecurity. We just, this is
Thank
our
you.
third session. Did you get time to go through those recordings, sir?
I'm not yet, but by tomorrow I will be prepared with everything.
Definitely. And I believe there are one more, person who has his first session today.
Yeah,
Uh,
hi, my name is Divya Krishnan.
Hi, Divya. Welcome to the cybersecurity group, ma'am.
Hi,
Great.
thank you.
Please go through. I believe I have added you also to the knowledge base, right?
Yes, you did, and I did go through the videos that you sent me.
Wow, great,
It
great.
was really helpful, yeah, and I could understand clearly what you're talking about. So thank you about
Most
that.
welcome, most welcome. And this is how we progressively learn, ma'am. And I try to be as non-technical as possible. But
Mhm.
see, please stop me if I'm going too technical. I'm a talkative person, and these things do happen. Means you
Believe,
might,
believe
work with
me, I do not understand the technical terms, so I will stop you.
please,
So
ma'am.
that's why I'm here.
Don't worry about my breaking the link and everything, because
Okay.
I'm a kind of passionate trainer, and I like it this way. Like, whenever you have problem, please, raise your hand, raise your voice, whatever you feel comfortable in. See, this is for you, right?
Yeah.
I'm basically working for you. So if you can, help me to do it better, it's my, way of getting adjusted to the each and everybody, because each and everybody should understand what I'm trying to say. If I'm, talking to, and the way, believe me, it feels like sometimes like you don't have anybody in front of you, but you're speaking to laptop. And
Mhm.
if you keep the videos on, the problem is like you get the voice broken, or sometimes, the bandwidth is not good and all. So
Yeah.
we suggest,
All
we'll
right.
have some session where we'll keep on our video, and I'll let you know how do I look like, and we'll get to know each other much better, right? Till then,
Yes.
the way we discuss is basically with the, pardon me, with the cameras off. Okay, so please bear with me on that as well. If
Sure.
anybody have any question, please start asking. Don't stop yourself, because this is how we learn, this is how we discuss. I normally call it discussion. Well, I'm a talkative person, so I talk the most. That's another way to look at it. But me and Anuj sir will try to guide you as much as possible. Okay, and yes, there are some challenging technical term which we have to learn, because we need to clear that an obstacle called interview, right? And for that we'll prepare this thing. So, last time I have discussed a homework. Please build a cybersecurity plan. How do you want to secure your house? How do you want to secure a typical company, shop, or something like that? A small entity where I want to start your wheels running in terms of your thought processes. Like, how do you think as a person, as an artist, will secure an entity? Okay, and we'll discuss that in a minute. Okay, so documentation of a cybersecurity plan, and the last two steps are links goal to the business objective. Now here we are concentrating on a business. Some of the things might be critical for business, like the stock we've created. If you're a car manufacturing company, the car you manufactured are at the utmost, what you can say, near and dear to heart, or it's the most important thing you want to preserve, right? And that way you'll address your even security goal to that. Now these security goal include physical as well as logical security. I'll repeat, physical security is actually anything to do with physical, like you can touch, you can feel, you can smell, and all those things, right? The logical security we talk about is normally called intangible security or intangible assets. Now, what are intangible assets? These are like software, these are like our brand, these are like our goodwill, and so on and so forth. So, any damage to those intangible assets is a kind of logical security. So, computer software, computer operating system, smartphone operating system, these are all what we can say logical assets. So, we need to preserve them as well. So we need to, based on your business objective, if you're producing softwares, then of course, whatever software you have produced, you might replicate it couple of places so that in case if my office catches fire or some, some sort of a tornado or some sort of a damage to those archivables at one place, I might get the stuff are retrieved from other places, which is easy in terms of such software products. In terms of physical assets, we couldn't replicate. Like if you manufacture, let's say 200 cars, you have to have those cars. Either you can segregate these cars storage to 4 different places. That's what you can do. So I'll have 50 at one, 50 at other, and so on and so forth. So in case if there are challenges at one place in terms of physical damages, like too much heat, too much cold, the rainy season, the tornadoes, the all those natural challenges, I might save the 75% of it, and so on and so forth. This is how we normally link our cybersecurity goals to the business objective. Then we keep testing for vulnerabilities. Now for physical security, yes, you can definitely observe, you can definitely test with a hammer or some impact loading kind of scenario. But when it comes to logical security, we have to
出去。What? 赶紧睡觉去了。这是干这是个 Thank you for the movie. Thank you. I'm telling you.
Yes, sir. Could you
I
please
will
repeat yourself,
support
sir?
my 我睡觉了。那我们刚去。
Okay, so yes, when it comes to testing for vulnerabilities, here, did I started recording? Yes. When it comes to vulnerabilities, we are talking about any and all gaps where my product or produce can get damaged. So what I'll do, I'll have something called firewall. I have something called, again, a kind of a logical checking system where I keep checking this product for any logical vulnerabilities, for any logical gap or leakages or something like that. And we'll come to each of these things. We're going to study this thing. How do you preserve your logical assets? And that's a kind of thing which we need to learn, because physically, I believe everybody have did in the past and everybody know how to secure physically. That's why physical security is a bit a smaller thing. Today, we're going to start working on how to build a department for securing logical things, and we'll come to that in a minute, right? So these are all 6 steps we normally address pardon me, to preserve our produce, to preserve our key assets in a most secure way. The conclusion to these 6 steps are: a cybersecurity plan specifies security policy, procedures, and control required to protect the organizations against threat, risk, vulnerabilities. A cybersecurity plan also outlines the specific steps to take to respond such breach as well. Okay, and we'll talk about each of these, like policies, procedures, controls, threats, risk, vulnerabilities in depth here. And this is a kind of base of our cybersecurity. Does anybody have any question as of now?
Yes, I have a question.
Please go ahead, sir.
What's the difference between threat and vulnerabilities?
Great question, sir. Okay. Let's take an example. In the morning, I got my cup of tea. I'm sitting in my porch and having my cup of tea or coffee coolly, calmly, and the sky darkens. Rather than getting light, more and more light, it starts darkening. What I feel threatened with the storm. I feel threatened with the rains because the clouds are gathering and all those things. These are the threats. Now, when it comes to vulnerabilities, Vulnerabilities are more when I feel somebody will damage it rather than nature, a particular person, a particular group of person, or particular attitude of a persons, but mostly humans. So those are kind of vulnerabilities. But when it comes to risk, when it comes to when it comes to threats, these are from either due to environment, due to some natural calamity, or due to some frequent happenings. So there's a small gray area in between that, and there could be some overlaps also. Like I might feel threatened in terms of coming rain, coming snowstorm. But when it starts coming, it's basically the threat has been realized. Now I need to make sure I need to close on all my vulnerabilities which might exist, which might I have left, I'll deal with them later kind of scenario. So I will start addressing those, like pulling up those, car covers, pulling up the some, shades, just in the corners of my porch or sunroom or something like that. Did you get your answer, sir? Could you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, yes, yes.
There's a
Thank
small
you.
difference and there's a bit of overlap also. So a threat can be vulnerability as well. But normally, if we ignore our threats, the vulnerability might get increased. That's the normal thought process. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. Now, let's have a look at whatever you have done in terms of homework. So who have given it a try to build a homework out of these 6 cybersecurity steps we talked about? Anybody?
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
I'm
Give it a
sorry.
try. Let's do it in the next session, because no, this is the basics.
Yeah.
Once you start, what you can say, initiating your thought process, you can be a better cybersecurity expert. And this is all artistic in nature. There are some scientific steps we do take, and that's what we're going to learn. But the last stage, right? The last step we need to take on our own. And if you're not, then well, I can professionally go ahead, but I can see this as a threat. This is like I've decided not to cover my car, and well, God forbid, one good old night it starts snowing heavily. So my car surface might get damaged, right? It get crystallized, it get whitened and all. You might have experienced. I have experienced quite a lot of time, and I'm a lazy person. So that I need to kick myself again and again. Oh, can it snow? Okay, so I need to cover my car. I need to cover certain entities lying in my backyard or foreyard or something like that. I like that swing. If you know what I mean by swing, it's basically a typical, I think, Asian thought process. Like we have a kind of moving board attached with 2 set of string on each side to a high rise. Might be a tree or might be a human made structure, and we normally go back and forth with our legs pushing the grounds and so on and so forth. So this swing is basically kind of has some challenges of getting those chains rusty, and it's not easy to pull out those chains during snow or a rainy season. So it might get damaged. So nowadays we have polyethylene strings and all, so those won't get damaged. So either you go for them, or you normally pull out the strings of this swing and put it in your basement or something like that. And like that, you need to address these threats, you need to address this risk in a proactive manner. If you are lazy, then you need to add some extra precaution there to address those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Let me know.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Yeah, please go ahead,
I
sir.
didn't mind. I tried to put down some things
Oh wow,
for
good.
the security. Yes.
Let me make you a
I did.
co-host so that you can share your screen.
Okay.
So what you can do normally, if you can see that Zoom bar, right? Go to the new share, click on new share, and you can share your window, whatever you did. Please open that thing first, and then you can click on the share, new share, and share your screen.
Okay.
Oh yes.
I don't know if you.
Yeah, I can see a really orange background, security plan for Bloom's Technology Inc. Wow, this is great, sir. Could you magnify? Could you make it bigger, sir? Just go with a single page. How do you magnify?
What, a single page?
Just view the single page, so that or a single paragraph, so that everybody can read those things. How do you magnify? There's a small. No. You can magnify the document viewing. Is there a view option somewhere? Percentage?
Okay, view,
Yeah,
yes.
view. Zoom out will be the option. Yeah. Make it. No. I think.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put it 200 and see.
Yes, this is good.
Okay.
Can everybody read? Yes. A comprehensive physical and logical security plan. Could you please walk through this, sir?
Okay, yeah, I thought about what we studied, the physical and logical security.
Great.
And I talked about a business that is called Bloom's Technology Incorporation. It's
Uh-huh.
a software company. It's a
Right.
small company trying to start up for consultancy. Yeah. Then I thought about, okay, let me just start reading it so you can understand it.
Sure, sir.
A comprehensive physical and logical security plan that is critical for my business to protect its assets from cyber threats and physical security risk. By implementing measures such as access control, perimeter security, authentication, authorization, and data encryption, businesses can help mitigate the risk of security incidents and protect sensitive data.
Great, sir. Very good introduction.
So I started with the perimeter of the company, that is the environment of the company, to secure it, which include the fences, the gates, and to employ some security guards to protect the physical perimeter of the business. Then this measure will help prevent unauthorized individuals from entering the business premises.
Great.
Then I went further to do access control before you can get into the office, into the building, or into the office environment. You need ID cards, you need cameras. Okay, then access control measures are put in place to restrict physical access to your business premises. This may include measures such as security cameras, ID cards, biometric scanners for you to be able to get into the office.
Right.
Access control help prevent unauthorized individual from gaining physical access to the business physical assets. Okay. Wow. Environmental control such as temperature, humidity, those things that can destroy your computers, your files, your information, your assets.
Yes.
So, yes.
Right.
So which means you have to make sure they are all protected. You have the air conditioner, you have, in some cases where there is winter, maybe you have to have some heating system in place to help your gadgets, your assets, your physical assets. Then I went further to do authentication for anybody, any employee that is going to be working or accessing the data or the information on your systems. You have to introduce authentication for them to be able to authenticate themselves before they can get in. So that measure, such as password and biometric authentication, are put in place to verify identity of the user attempting to access the business digital assets. Strong authentication measures help prevent unauthorized access to your business sensitive data. Okay, now I went to authorization. You have to authorize. That is where you talk about, I think I read it, where you have the IAM, where you can authorize somebody before you can get in. Like you have to issue somebody a password or some credentials for them to be able to access the logical assets. So that is authorization. Then I talk about network security, the entire network of the business. So you have to secure it so that people from neighborhood, from within or from outside cannot just get in case of what they call DDoS attack. I've read that one too, where you have those people sending information, sending on spam malware to your system for regular, rampant malware, like trying to destroy your data.
Right.
Okay, I did that one. I did also data encryption. Data encryption is when you are sending messages, you have to make sure that you give extra security, that you have to encrypt the data you are sending out until the recipient of that data is able to decrypt it then it will not be able, I mean, it has the code to decrypt it, then it will not be able to view the data if they are sensitive data.
Right.
Then now at the end, I talk about how you can back up your system, back up your information, your data, and your applications if possible, so that in case one of them is destroyed, you can have the second version to put in place to run your business.
Right, right.
I don't know if I'm okay, but this is what I was able to come up
You're very good, sir. Very good, very good. Please continue.
That's okay. That's what I did. That's where I stopped. Backup and recovery, backup measure are put in place to ensure that your business data can be recovered in the event of security incident or data loss.
Perfect.
Regular backups help ensure that your business can recover from a disaster and continue to operate.
Great, great. I believe you addressed all the nook and corners of the security plan, which we are looking for. I think it's a really good inspiration for everybody. See, once you had this process in your included in your thoughts, you can build these plans very easily. And here we used really great words. Means the way I can see this thing, this can be easily put it on the table in a business meeting. Are you with me, everybody?
Yes.
You understand? It's
Yes.
really great work, Andy. Means, I couldn't thank you enough for trying this thing and building this plan on your own. It's really a great work. Thanks to you. How
Thank you so
much time do you spend on this, sir?
I think I spent more than 8 hours trying to do research. I have to watch the video and video again, like 2 times. Then I started to now think on, okay, what should somebody really do if you are starting a business?
Right.
How do you protect your business? First of all, you have to protect the perimeter of the building. You have to protect the physical assets. Then you have to protect the logical assets. Logical assets are mainly your network, your data, your application, or whatever you are running through the internet.
Right, right. Once you have this thought process with you, you are a cybersecurity expert, sir. Now you just need to learn the tools. So you need to just address, point 1, point 2, point 3, point 8. Saying for this perimeter security, let's have this iron cage, let's have this steel structure, let's have this, cement wall, or let's have these, even some sort of those, bushes you plant, right? In some scenario where you don't need so much physical security, but just to mention that this is my line, this is your line kind of, this is my boundary, that's your boundary kind of scenario. So depending upon the need and criticality, you can start addressing the tools now. So you have really, learn whatever we have discussed, sir. And I'm really grateful for sharing this thing with all of us so that everybody can understand. And it's really a great work, a hard work you put in for those many hours. And it's really, we can see the fruits itself. If you do these things, you will learn, you will excel in cybersecurity. See, cybersecurity is not difficult topic, only we have to understand the technicality of it, the tools, like you go into any new business, right? If you're into, let's say, if you start a new business of addressing security to your nearby home, like the ADT teams, right? You might have heard that ADT is one of the most prominent security company within North America to address home security or office security. So what they do all these things in a sequential manner. If you can analyze by yourself, and if you have this thought process with you, you can start a company like ADT by yourself. And you can basically even charge for your consultancy fee. So if somebody asks you, hey, Andy, could you please come down to my house and try to understand, how we can make our house secure? Like, somebody might say, I purchased this house in this area and I want to make it completely secure because, I work from home also most of the time. So I have these, costly laptops, certain costly assets, or I am a jeweler and I keep some, gold ornament at my place sometimes. So I need I need my home secure, or I'm crazy about my daughter's son's wife and I want them to feel secure. So for that, I want to erect a cyber security, or I want to erect a security systems for me, for my home, for my office, and you can consult him. See, these are the 7-8 steps we are talking about to build security plan across our house, across our office. And this is how you do it. These are the same steps you will convey to them. And this is one of the best way to explain. Also the way you explain, sir, it's really I'm really proud, like you did this thing in just those 2 sessions. So look at us, like how fast we are learning. And for everybody else, please do try. This is really one of the great sample we can share across as a team. We can start learning from Andy, how he put in his efforts and got a really great thought process started on how to build these security plan for Bloom's technology. You can use a similar thought process for any home, for any offices for that matter. So it's really great example. Thanks a lot, Andy. It was really excellent. The best
Thank you.
output. Yes.
Thank you. It's very, to me, cybersecurity is like, I have a civil construction engineering background. So I always see from how you secure your house.
Right.
If you have a house, definitely from where I come from, we always have a perimeter fence to stop people from getting into your compound. That is first line of security.
Very. I couldn't discuss this thing any better. You
now,
I think attitude and artwork required to build this security system, sir. Means you have that
now,
in you. We can clearly see.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
Thanks a lot.
when you get through that security perimeter fence, that's the first line. That's the first line of defense, first line of security. Like when you now get through to the main house, you have a front door to get into your house.
Right.
That door also, you can also put a kind of lock that until you give somebody the access to get through that door, he will not be able to get through that door. For instance, you want a plumber to come and work in your bedroom, but you don't want the plumber to go to other rooms. So you can only grant him the door code to get to your bedroom and hold on to the other codes to the other room. You lock up the other rooms, then you give the access to the main room that you want the plumber to work. So, that is what I believe is, granting.
That's a starting point, sir. That's the best starting point we can have. And believe me, there are a good number of cybersecurity experts who forgot the physical security whenever you start planning. And that's one of the biggest mistake we do. Believe me, it's not just, we are human, right? So we keep doing mistakes. And these are one of the prominent mistakes which we have experienced during so many years. Because this is what these guys forget. This is one of the most critical important point. If you can't secure your base, you might have good number of security system like motion sensor, camera, night vision and all those things. But if you don't have fence, well, the matters start crippling from there. And if you have seen, many of the jailbreaks happens because they don't have fences secure enough. So what these guys do, they shoot out those cameras. Whatever you purchase, very at $2,000 a camera, which is night vision, motion sensor, this sensor, that sensor. But once that camera has been damaged, the security goes for a toss. At least the physical security part of it. So that's why, as a cyber security, it's our inclusion in our duties to secure physically as well. Please remember these things. Okay. So whenever somebody start you to build some security plan, first and foremost is the physical security. Then we can move to the other ones, like and as Andy have put it really excellent way, the access control comes afterwards. So that whenever you give an entry to somebody, he has to be authorized, authenticated, scrutinized, so that I'll make sure who is entering into the premises is with the right mindset. And that's how we normally give this access to these guys. And we're going to first learn the access control as well in terms of whenever we start learning these tools. Then the environmental control. These control basically give you a clear idea of how I can control my environment, whatever forces acting on my building from outside. This can be snowstorm warnings. This can be something like some particular wrong type of people coming to our area or something like that, or some challenging gathering with lots and lots of human beings coming together, which might give a rise to some wrong ideas by wrong people. This is also happening in quite a few places as well. So I need to understand these, what we can call environmental EEF, enterprise environmental assets in a project management thought process. So enterprise environmental asset is normally a word used for environmental, what you can say, threats you have on your building in a physical as well as logical scenario. And then of course in a step by step, you have really exceeded my expectation. That's what I'll say, sir. It's really a great plan. Thank you. Thanks a lot for sharing with us. Okay, anybody else want to share their plans, or they've
Excuse
given
me,
us? Yes, please go ahead.
excuse me, Ravindra sir.
Please go ahead, sir.
This presentation is excellent, but you want to add anything technicality terms?
No, sir.
in
Okay.
this one?
I don't want to, what you can say. See, we'll go slow and steady. Okay. I have n number of tools at my disposal to start telling you, but there's a time and place. So today we're just going to understand how this plan takes to a next level whenever we start actual planning. So first, what we'll understand how we can step into the roles and the thought process of a security expert. Now we have did the groundwork, or I feel you are ready to understand or to go to the next step. Okay, so now we'll go to the next step. Let me start my presentation. There is a time to run tools as well, but first we'll try to understand the security operations center. Now let's understand what is, what is a security operations center. This is a department where we start implementing this plan. The first step, as a person, as an artist, I got the canvas, I got the brush, I got the pens, I got the sprayer and all those things in place. That's what those 6-7 steps we were talked about during last 2 sessions. Now here we start implementing those. Once you have these some of the thought process ready, now we start understanding how to implement those. Are you with me, sir? Jay, sir, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yes. Now we are stepping into the actual cybersecurity work area. So what cybersecurity expert does, how they do it, what type of tools they use, this is what we're going to learn in the next sessions. So first is, let's understand SOC, because SOC or InfoSec, these are the two terminology interchangeably used in the American corporate and a Canadian corporate world. Okay, so SOC is basically Security Operations Center. InfoSec is Information Security, and these are the names of the department. Okay, so these department names gives a clear idea like the team members who are working within these departments are responsible for maintaining security, cyber security, physical security, logical security, and the whole 9 yards in between. Okay, let's try to understand how how American corporates or Canadian corporates know what SOC does, what InfoSec does. So SOC teams work around the clock. Again, I'll repeat, work around the clock to anticipate and detect threats before they happen. Now, what do you mean? What I want to stress on work around the clock? Yes, there are some job roles who clearly mentions 24/7 or 3 shift duties. Many of the SOC team members, specifically freshers, they do have a kind of round the clock or shift duties as you normally refer it. So something like 3 shift. So the main shift or the day shift is what we call 9 to 9 to 6. Then 6 to again 9 hours. What is that? 6 to 9 is right. So 6 and 6, 12. And 3 more is like 3 a.m. and 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. So these are the normal round the clock shifts we are talking about in terms of work around the clock to anticipate and detect threats before they happen. Now, not everybody is basically work in a shift. There are hardly 15 to 20% of the overall SOC team members are allocated in shift. And these are like those guard duties. These are like incident response teams. These are like, non-business hour type of securities. These are less in numbers, but yes, still they are there, and these report to these SOC bosses, right? So SOC team works around the clock to anticipate and detect threats before they happen. A SOC or a security operations center is a command center for incident respond. What is incident respond? Have anybody came across this word before?
Anything threat came, so immediately they informed.
Great. No problem. Okay, Antara, sir, I have done my hard work on my notebook, so I can't. I have my HW on my notebook. Okay, no problem, ma'am. So what you can do, ma'am, you can take a pen and paper and write. Yes, or MS Word, and yeah, you can send it to me and I can present it also. Okay, whoever don't want to share their screen, you can share those documents with me and I'll share and then you can explain also. Okay, please don't worry about that. And we are here to help, right? Even you can send it to anybody else within this team, and please start speaking between yourself, because we are going to learn as a team. We are going to help each other as a team. Even I am going to bring some older members of our older participants as well at some point of time, and he or she will guide you in terms of how they've worked, how they've learned, how they have prepared their what you can say, interview preparations or RRRB session as well. But first we need to start speaking within ourselves. So please get friendly with whoever, start working on that, right? Okay, yeah, sorry, pardon me. Let's take a quick round of introduction with these two dignitaries join us today. Aditya sir, could you please introduce yourself in terms of your experience and all those things, so that we know you bit better.
Hi, so I was working at a bank before as
Wow.
a universal banker,
Uh-huh.
and I was actually planning on taking business analyst classes, and then came across cybersecurity. Two of my friends are taking it through University of Buffalo here,
Mhm.
but the whole process is lengthy and it's expensive. So luckily, I saw a post on Facebook for GuruSchools, and then I contacted the HR person, and then she actually got me in touch with this. So
Great. We are lucky to have you, sir. And
thank you, same here.
are you working in IT? Means, have you worked in?
No, not. I don't have any IT experience. No, never. I actually have my bachelor's in physical therapy, so I don't even have any experience in IT.
Okay, but just to add to your, means, just to, I'm thinking loud here. Even physiotherapy, you have certain security procedures, right? What we call SLAs, not SLAs, standard procedures, right? SOP, standard operating procedure, right?
Right,
Right, and there's a bit
right.
part of it also addresses security. Like whenever there is a
Mhm.
you have to have CPR. There's a certain environment you require. A flat surface with a support to your chest or something like that.
Right,
Right, sir?
right,
Right. So that's also a way to address security. Believe me, we unknowingly do address security. So it's a part and parcel of life. If you learn it that way, it's much easier to understand. You know how Andy sir have explained, right?
You're
Means the way he started is
right,
basically the basics of like he has his business and he want to secure it now. The way he gradually explained step by step, if you take it that way, and even if you use your previous experience, it's going to help you and help us also. Even I learned a
right,
couple of things from you about physiotherapy, and this is how we grow. Means don't stop yourself being
right,
technical or non-technical or this or that side. Let's enjoy, let's build these things, right? And that's how I want everybody to be interactive, to be start thinking, start building things, start applying your thought process. We are all brilliant the way I believe, only we don't use our knowledge so often, because, and for that matters, it doesn't get brushed up. So the more you use your knowledge, the more you share or more you kick off your mind saying, okay, I need to do these things, the more you can become experienced, the more you can become expressive also. So please be in something like that. Means that's what will be
right,
my session. So please never feel like you are out of the world, because there could be some really, IT people here and they keep speaking very difficult word, believe me, and these things do happen.
mm,
If we at all know,
right.
if
Okay,
you go
thank
to
you.
doctors, they have their own words. If you go to a group of
Right,
lawyers, they have their own words. And I don't know why, but this segregation do happen due to their work pressure, the way they use language at their workplace, and that's how it gets into you. But yes, if you don't
right.
understand, please do ask. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Will do.
Most welcome, sir. Divya ma'am, could you please, introduce yourself?
Yeah, like I said, my name is Divya Krishnan, and 10 years back, I did work in testing, but
Wow.
after that, I had a long gap, became a mom.
Right. Wow.
I'm sorry, just 1 second. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so now I'm looking to get back into a job.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Great, great,
I'm
great.
interested in cybersecurity.
Wow. That's good. That's good. So you know a bit about this environment. That's really great.
Yeah, but it was like 10 years back. So now I'm new to this era.
No,
That's what
no,
I should
yeah,
say.
you
Everything
might
is
have
like
to learn
changing.
some new tools, new version, and all those things.
Yeah.
But believe me, the basic thought process remains. The basic idea of securing things do remain with us, right? And we're just
Yes.
building on top of that. That's how I would like to start understanding or sharing thought process with you. And let's not jump here. Let's try to build our, grassroots clear. And the
Yes.
first thing
Yes.
which we start in terms of understanding the tools are basically communication.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you are in North America, so you know the North American English is prevalent. If you're in Canada, the Canadian English or basically a bit of French English, as you might say.
Yeah.
So these
Mm-hmm.
things do happen. So we learn a word or two in a progressive manner. Okay, and this is how we're going to achieve our basically creating ourselves as a cybersecurity expert.
Okay.
Great, no problem. Sure. So, pardon me for this. And this is how we get, okay. The main intention here was to start communicating within yourself. Like you might, send some message. You might say, Good Friday, have a good weekend, or something like that. These are the kind of good icebreakers. And then you start discussing. So, yes, wow, you done, computer hardware before. So, you must be knowing about routers, you know, be knowing about switches, and so on and so forth, and start sharing ideas also, like Andy have shared with us, right? And this is
Yes.
how we start building our knowledge, we start applying our knowledge. Unless and until you apply your knowledge, and believe me, these are the generic thought process, whatever we are learning right now, only we need to add some tools and we need to justify those tools. That all we do in terms of SOCs, a departmental member, and so on and so forth. Okay, let me come back to this SOC understanding.
Yeah. Actually, I did try to do my homework. I didn't have complete time to put it into a presentation. I just wrote it down. I had some ideas, on the
Share,
things
madam. Means you can share with these audio as well. It's like not like we are presenting anything complicated. So you can speak up. Means if you'd like to. Means see, I don't normally force anybody, but I would really love to understand your thought process, which gives
Yeah.
us an
So,
idea, like how your mind is churning, right? How means
yes.
how much you've understood. That's the intention here. No other intentions. Please go
So
ahead.
I didn't fully complete the plan or something. I just wrote out the steps. You said identify key assets and threats, right? So the threats mostly, I took up a banking sector.
Great, no
So
problem.
the main threats to a banking sector would be like stealing the data, like ransomware.
Right.
So, people steal the data, they post it on. I read a story like about Flagstar Bank in 2020. In USA, the bank, the cyber criminals stole the data, they posted online, the user data, and they posted online, and they asked ransom. So this is one of the main thing. Then phishing attacks. So they ask about, I think this happens a lot in India, no?
It happens
So
everywhere,
they call,
ma'am.
yes. Yeah. So
Well,
they call, they say like, you are selected for this, so I have to send you this and send you a lot of money. So give me your account details, so that. And sometimes, even the users, they overshare things. They
right.
share their identity and stuff. So that was another risk. Then,
Let me stop you. There's an
yes.
good example of this. There's a case. This was in, I think, 2014, when one of the data center employee have clicked the photo in the Bank of America data center near St. Louis somewhere. I think near Cape Girardeau or something like that. They have their data center, and this image by mistake was her birthday in that data center pantry, and they've clicked their photos. Now, some of the cybersecurity hacker have enhanced that photo and stole some really great depth in terms of hardware they were using for encryption. and we'll talk about encryption in few slides, where they have really extrapolated that information and hacked into that. This is a real instance. This was in 2003. It's available on the Google. It's available on even the Cisco site as well, because the Cisco's routers display of these encryption levels have eased him to hack into that data center. So a simple thing like a photo clicked in a data center have created a havoc. And they've stolen, I think, around, not major damage though, but still, I think he stole around 100 or 200 or 300 kind of user data. And that's a challenge we face. That's why security is the most important thing. And I'm talking about physical security. So nowadays, if you're a data center employee, whenever you enter the data center, they keep your phone, cameras, everything out. And then they let you wear another clothes as well, so that even the digital button cameras couldn't proliferate their physical security. And this was a really great learning for everybody in the cybersecurity field in those good old days. That's why our understanding of these scenarios, these instances, makes us a better cybersecurity person. Could you understand, ma'am, why I've interrupted you? Pardon me for that. So this is how we need to build our thought process. Just a suggestion. I believe you started addressing these things quite early in your planning. First, we go a kind of a gradual way. First, you start with physical security, the fencing. How do you look at it from the outside? Then you step onto the door, try to understand the access control. Then you step in and try to address the logical security also. This is a normal. See, again, everybody is an artist and they can paint their picture, right? And I can't say you're wrong, but a thumb rule or a best practices, that's what I normally share with you. So don't take it like I want to criticize you or something like that. No,
I'm here to learn. So
the best practices. Yes, ma'am. And whatever you did is correct. Means I can directly jump to the logical security because I'm a logical security guy. It do happen. But please do remember, whenever somebody wants to explain you the security parameters, it includes the logical security, the access control, and then the physical security, access control, and then the logical security. This is a normal, kind of a progressive step. But again, you can start the other way around as well. Nobody can stop you. Okay, please go ahead, ma'am. Sorry.
And also, so those are the threats for a banking. And I was like about to say, like, bank robberies. So that is also thing. And, then I came up with prioritizing. So prioritizing is like in a banking sector, you protect the money and also your user data.
Right.
So these are the most important as long as like what I thought of. So this was like I prioritized this. Then then I set goals. You have to. Sorry,
come again. Whatever you said, the last sentence.
Yeah, then you gave me a few steps, right? In the video, we discussed all the steps, right? So it was like first identify the key assets, then prioritize the assets and risks. Then you go to set achievable goals, right? So for setting the goals, I came up like, you hire trained cybersecurity employees, who are up to date, and or like what do you call it? I'm sorry, I'm not good with the technical terms, as I said.
No, these are what we are learning here.
Go to others or security organizations who provide security for your bank.
Okay.
Collaborate, right? So the word is
to say network security.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. So then you train your, you provide security awareness for your employees.
Right.
Then you can also provide like in the website of your bank, you can provide consumer awareness programs.
Great. This is okay. This is the point I have missed. Please go ahead, ma'am.
So consumer awareness programs that like, do not overshare your things, your IDs and all. So, and you have some tools to detect the attacks. So,
right.
Sorry, this is all I came up with. No, I stopped here. I didn't have the time to complete.
I
get a plan.
Right. So, this is really, great start. Believe me. Means this is how we start building our initial planning, and these are the initial planning. So there has to some what you can say shortcomings or something which we have to include, like the tools and everything. So please don't worry, it's really a great try, and I really appreciate this thing. This
Thank
gives
you.
you a confidence basically, so that I have at least started.
Yeah.
First and the foremost thing, you have to start, you need to start building these what you can say, or start thinking about this, and this is the first step, and that's what I've given you this assignment. Okay, so yeah, please do, whoever have not done, my humble request, please do try. Okay,
Yeah.
because this kick starts your mind in basically getting there to a chair of cybersecurity expert. Aditya sir, do you have a question or something? You have raised your hand, sir.
Yeah, it's not a question actually, since that Ms. Divya was talking about banking sector, so I thought I would share my point of view. Since I have some banking experience as part of the external and internal security measures that you guys were talking about just now. So basically, like when I started working at the bank, just before we open the bank, we usually get there like 45 minutes before the bank opens. So there's like usually two people are required as a part of the security process, that like two people are required to show up in the parking lot at the same time. One person sits in the car, the other person walks up to the door. And then when the other person puts the security number and then walks inside the branch, the second person drives around the branch just to see there's no one else.
Right.
And then the first person goes through every single employee's office desk and like checks under the table, checks the restrooms, behind the teller line. Then once that person thinks everything is clear, they put like a thing called all clear sign in the window. So the second person can see that like everything is safe to walk in. Then that person parks the car and then gets in. And as far as the internal security, like we used to get like emails from the cybersecurity team once or twice a week, just like, like a fake email to see if we would fall for that or not. Like, click this link or whatever. So like either we have to click report phishing email, or like click the link if you think that email is clear. So that way, just to see like, if anyone falls for that or not. So that's
Great.
an internal security measure that they had put on there.
Right, right. Let me add to that. Means right now, today, the way it happens, the way we modernize these things, there's a SOC staff member who normally stays overnight or who's working in the morning shift or early morning shift at its call. So normally, whenever these two person comes in the outside, they park in the car and they call these persons in the office of SOC and saying, "Hey, SOC, we are ready to open the main gate." So let's start the procedure. And what happens, the SOC members come from inside. So rather than operating with the key, the SOC member starts inside, and the external guard put its fingers, biometric, iris scanners, and make sure whoever entering in the premises have the respective authorization and authentication. Now, rather than opening, it's a security check, as they call it, in the morning at a specified time, as you just said. And all these procedures, they have number of persons increased. And rather than going around the clock, the persons in the car have a tablet or some screen where he reviews all these camera footage in a fast forward mode. Might be 3 minutes each camera kind of scenario. I'm just giving you or sharing raw samples where he checks out if there's a cat or dog or entered, or some sound vibrations or ground vibrations, so that somebody is digging from outside, or some sort of a disturbance in sound also can be detected. Because nowadays we have that camouflage suits and everything, right? You might have heard of that. What this camouflage suit does, it makes you invisible to a normal slow progression, because the technology have not enhanced to a level where you can put that suit and start walking on the road and you become invisible. No, the suit basically has a progressive camouflage created. So that suit can be programmed, and believe me, there are instances, there are these penetration tests happened at Bank of America St. Louis Center. So I know good number, I have a couple of good friends there. That's how I got to know these security procedures. Now, the way Aditya sir have explained, it's really perfect. Means the way we secure our office first, rather than start letting our customers, getting in, and that's the procedure. Even if somebody, whatever in terms of with wrong intention, try to penetrate your office during the night, there's a standard alarming procedure so that the nearest possible, police stations has been informed within few seconds, and those police come to you with a complete station guns, all those arms and ammunition, and visit your office. And there's a also procedure like how do you basically start letting the police in your banking institution, financial institution, data center, all such critical offices or critical businesses nowadays. And we have built this standard procedure. In some federal buildings, you, rather than calling to the police, you directly call the FBI, directly call the other members which are made ready for tackling such scenario. There are a good number of English movies where they have tried to include such processes and policies also. Okay, so try to, even if you know that big Spanish serial on the heist, I couldn't recall the name. Can anybody? Oh man.
Money Heist.
Money Heist.
Money Heist. Yes. And
Money Heist.
yes, you can learn some security measures from that serial as well, a sitcom. Try to watch couple of parts, first 2 or 3 parts, where they start building, or they start they're planning heist into these banking institution, or one of the most, I think, their country central bank or something like that. So they give you a clear idea how to secure, how you can basically make those things act better. And yes, you can also have a review of that sitcom also, like, yeah, we have this additional professor, so this could not be possible, and blah blah thing as well. But yes, if you enhance your thought process, if you really start understanding how these securities are addressed, we have to be a better persons to prevent those type of heist as well. Believe me, and you get awarded very graciously, you get appreciated mostly anonymously, so you don't get your photo in newspaper or websites. But believe me, you can become rich overnight if you can stop such attacks, such heists, and get a credit for that. And this has happened with quite a few people. Maximum are Russians. I don't know why, but yes, Russians are better security artists or cybersecurity expert than any others. Well, I'm not being partial here, but this is what the numbering game looks like as of now. And I'll share the website where you can basically try to understand why Russians, and why do we say so, and we'll learn that steady slowly. Okay, yes, there are lots and lots of fun and occurrences we'll share with each other. So if you have such instances happen near you, or about you, please do share. So rather than talking sitcoms, we can talk actual practical example. I'm a practicing lawyer, so I know these, I do address security measures to Mumbai police. So finance security comes to me by the implementation of it, or I'm a advising director to Mumbai police for all these cyber security measures and everything as well, and various other institutions across India. And this is the kind of job I do, so I can give you lots and lots of such instances, and we might discuss on that. So that's why, and I like science fiction movies, science fiction sitcoms like The Heist. That's why I can recall. Well, they haven't released their season 3, I believe, or season 4. I forgot. I like that. Even it's in Spanish and you get to hear the English and all. But still, you could relate it to the real instance. Might be in India, might be in Pakistan or somewhere down the line. So yes, it's this is the learning. This is the discussions we are talking about. Okay, have I talked too much? Pardon me for that. Yes, Adis, please continue. Sorry for that. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Aditya sir, do you want to add anything to that?
Oh no, I'm good. That's all I wanted to add actually from the
Great.
banking perspective. So that way, at least something that I am familiar with
Yes, yes, this
that
is
I could
really,
share.
and these are what we normally call standard operating procedure, SOP, and now we are learning SOC. Don't get confused, please. Okay, so yes, SOC is a security operations center, is a command center for incident response. Now, whatever Aditya sir have explained is one of the secure operating procedures, or SOP, or standard operating procedure, or which we normally execute whenever we find an exception. And these are the normal procedure we start including in our standard policy or standardization books. Okay, and we'll talk about that. How do we create which type of procedure library we are talking about, and so on, so forth. Further to that, an SOC staff is typically comprised of employees and highly trained in IT and cybersecurity skill. Okay, IT, because IT are the main infrastructure where you address this logical security in all. Even many of these motion sensor cameras, or the security centers we talk about, these are more situated for IT type of persons who know about computers, like a screen, keyboard, monitor, mouse, this, that, other. So we're going to learn these things in a simplest possible way, so that you can be a part of these security operations center. Okay, and these are the kind of primarily job role we can start on, or we can build our career on steadily and progressively. The three main tenets of SOC defense strategies are protection, detection, and prevention. And yes, what I would really tell you about, please remember three P's as three words: protection, detection, and prevention, where we start with first protection, then we start with detection, and this detection means audit, testing, and all these things, and then prevention, build this system. And these are normally run in iteration. So you don't stop after you do protection, detection, and prevention. You start the cycle again. Depending upon the criticality of business, criticality of IT security, you might have this procedure run every week, or every month, or every 15 days, depending upon the organizational adoption to these security audits, as we call. And this security audit talks about the detection. So what we detect, we try to detect any lacunas in protection, any lacunas in prevention, and we'll address those. And as we discussed that a sitcom called Money Heist, there are lacunas in those security measures of those central bank of Spain, I believe, right? So there, what they did, they try to protect, they try to build protection, they try to address the even preventive mechanism as well. There are some mechanism who are proactive, and that's what the protection is all about. Like we talked about the guards with the arms, so that if anybody tried to break into your office, break into your fence, you might have them fired upon, as they are damaging your assets. Then we have a detections. For detections, we might have same guard mechanism used, or we might have some a motion sensor cameras or something like that, to spot any movements in those non-movement areas, right? And then we prevent. How do we prevent? Next time we might create a better fence, and so on, so forth. So protection, detention, and prevention do happens in a iterative way. In the SOC, internet traffic, corporate area networks, desktop, server, endpoint services, database, application, and other systems are continuously examined for the signs of security incidents. So anything which is out of ordinary, out of normal procedure, will be tagged as a exception. And this exception is analyzed by cybersecurity expert. Like, is it as a threat of our physical or logical security? Believe me, there are instances in terms of breaking a bank with a cat. Believe me, and there are a good number of even successful tries. There are a couple of successful tries, and I believe these tries were in mostly one in France and one in somewhere in South Africa. They have successfully penetrated the bank security via mounting some, RDX, mounting some, cameras, mounting some special instrument on the back of a cat and on the back of some rat as well. Well, there's an episode in Money Heist where they mount the cameras on the rat, they insert a GPS into the rat tummy and all those things also. Now, due to these, miniature devices, you can implant anywhere, and that's how they were trying to achieve these things also. So when it comes to something like, trying to detect something, we need to consider such instances as well. And that's why within SOC, within this security operations center, we do validate, we do verify, we do keep a close eye on the internet traffic. So any request which is coming to us, network repeatedly from certain specific physical location, and we're going to discuss how to track certain computer sending a request to a secure server, and how they can track you as well from these IP address, from your internet address and all those things. So we're going to learn about these IP addresses, the request coming and all those things as well. So this is how we build these systems. We build these vulnerability testing or packet auditing softwares, where we keep detecting all such requests. Even if a request coming periodically to your network for giving them access or trying to access it anonymously, we will make sure we address that instance as a exceptional scenario and try to address this from a security point of view. That's how we normally try to address, or it's a continuous work, as you can see, as far as making sure our systems are secure enough for any incidents happening in the future also. So these are protection, detection, and prevention. Please do remember these three words. Any questions so far? Anybody have any confusion or anything they want to share with us?
No.
Okay, good. Now let me play you a good video of we're trying to understand from so overall, where are we try to understand these prevention, protection, and detection? These are the few pointers they've shared, right? Now this is again a mentor trying to guide you. There could be some additional also, depending upon the business need, depending upon the business entities. We normally try to address for a given cybersecurity measures in terms of prevention, protection, and detection. Okay, we're going to throw light on each of these entity in a progressive manner. Right now, just try to understand, like, these are the things which we have to learn in terms of threat intelligence. What is a threat intelligence? Like we discussed in the couple of minutes back, we have to understand the threat intelligently. So when it comes to something like getting the sky cloudy, does it rain every time? No. So what are the probability we're talking about? What are the instances like the sky get dark and the rain start pouring in? Well, again, these are the kind of regional matters. So we need to go to the regional weather lab and try to understand what type of rain threat or tornado threat we have for our region. Yes. Now for cybersecurity or for securing your region with all these damages, the natural calamity damages, every weather center have a threat intelligence. And if you walk into that office, you will understand there will be board threat intelligence executives or something like that, so that you can check with them. So what type of threat intelligence do you have for the next few hours, few days, few years? They have a library of such risks which you might fail in, which you might occur in your regional area, like heavy tornado or a light rain or something like that. And you need to decide on your understanding of those threats in terms of planning the risk mitigation strategy for such threats. And that's how you build your plan in terms of securing your premises against such instances. And that's how we build that that's something called disaster recovery policy as well. So if you have too many threats in terms of tornadoes or heavy rains, water floods, or even heat waves as well. You normally replicate your data if you are banking servers or a data center in two different places. That's a thumb rule. That's why, because this is because we have some threats in other place also, so you need to tackle that. But when you have these data replicated at three places across North American region or a Canadian region, you are pretty sure you don't get tornado or rains at once at three places. That's why your risk is averted, your risk is addressed. This is how we normally use the words in our day-to-day discussion as a cybersecurity expert, as a cybersecurity threat intelligence expert. These are, you can all say, job roles as well. So there is a research in terms of evaluating our new threats, evaluating new risk in that region, evaluating new threats even in the logical, as a logical targets as well, and we'll learn those things in next few slides as well. Then how do you develop this system? How do you build this system? How many servers you need? How many monitors or how many reviewing guys you need? Now, as we discussed, physical security is a part of cyber security. So these camera vigilance executives, which keep an eye on these motion sensor based cameras, are basically part and parcel of the SOC. And these guys can clearly understand if a red light is flickering in the corner, what that red light is all about, what type of system giving you a red indication, and something like that. And that's why we normally train a single department address all these scenarios. Be it something like threat intelligence, system design, system development, research, new threat understanding, update the maintenance. What type of maintenance are we talking about? How to secure these cameras? Because as we learned from our experience, whenever these guys break the fence, they'll first shoot the camera, because they also know, like if they caught on this camera, even as a last frame or something, they are basically getting identified due to this face recognition and all the other tools we have. Believe me, normally all these critical business, they do have face face recognition inbuilt in their security camera, and so that the security system notifies, hey, Ravindra is entered into the office at 2 a.m. So the Ravindra's boss is informed, hey, boss, Ravindra entered into office at 2 a.m. on Saturday. Saturday is a holiday. So what the hell he is doing? So he might call me saying, hey, Ravindra, are you in office? So what are you doing in the office on Saturday morning, early morning? He said, oh no, I came for this reason, and I felt I got a new idea, try to implement in the security measures and blah 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 thing. If he could justify himself, well, good. Otherwise, what he'll do? He'll call the security, means the another part of the SOC department, where he said detain Ravindra in some some of the room available as a detention, and then we'll question him, we'll investigate what he have done. We'll also monitor the internal cameras where we know how Ravindra is moved within the office. Believe me, except the laboratories, now everything including the canteen and everything is covered under surveillance. And you might have read these boards, right? The office is under surveillance. Whatever you do has been recorded, every second of that thing. Well, you don't have that board, but yeah, you are under surveillance kind of scenario. So this way, you're not invading anybody's privacy, but you're trying to protect your digital and logical asset. That's how this thing goes. Could you understand how SOC should or must function? Do you got an idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 This is the intention of these video as well as this discussion. Okay, now we are going to understand each of these big screens, be it a good cameras, be it a good keyboard, wireless mouse, keyboard, and all those things, and we'll try to understand how we reach at this stage, what type of security instance or security failures triggered you to use something like wireless motion sensor camera. Because many times these guys, these hackers or these wrong intention guys, they cut the wires. So what we do, we made that camera, those cameras wireless. So even if you go there, you have to really damage the screen. And now we have a screen protection systems also for the cameras, so that to reach that camera, you need to really break that iron cage, or that not iron, what do you call that, a new metal we have, carbon fiber, which is really difficult to cut, which is really difficult to melt, and blah 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 thing. Iron is easy, but if you have a carbon frame, means there are special carbon frame developed for the cameras as well, so that they don't damage the surveillance, or they don't come in between the thing which you are observing and all those things. But yes, they are protecting the cameras as well. And these are the way we invent or we improve ourselves in an evolutionary manner. That's what we're going to learn progressively. How do we do that? And how do we keep doing that? So be it a prevention, protection, detection, we do this continuously. We are evolving continuously. We are trying to protect more. We are trying to detect more, and we try to prevent more in terms of all such cybersecurity attack. Okay, let me take back to your presentation, and then we'll discuss more in terms of how do we do it. So what is SOC?
Ravindra sir, hi.
Go ahead,
I
please.
would also like to add one thing onto that part, what
Please
you
go
were
ahead.
explaining in terms
Yeah,
of
yeah.
SOC monitoring. So, so guys, whatever Ravindra sir has explained in terms of prevention, detection, and protection. So these things are achieved. Uh, Definitely, certain tools are there in terms of when it comes to security monitoring. So the working of those tools are it is called SIEM, Security Incident and Event Management. So this is the interface which is integrated with all the infrastructure services, applications, devices, whatever you have within the organization when it comes to security. So the working of these tools are like every tool generates a particular log or an incident when it comes to the uh, uh, any suspicious movement that has been detected. So SIM tool, which is integrated with all these devices, it collects the raw logs from these different tools, and what it does is every incident is given a particular ID. With that ID, it tries to relate the logs that have been generated from different systems, and in the back end, it processes it, which makes it readable for the analyst, the cybersecurity analyst, with which makes his task easy to understand that what type of incident has been generated, what is the source where this particular incident has penetrated, and what are the necessary precautionary measures for it. So just say for an example, a certain ransomware or cyber attack that has happened and which has affected all the uh, say servers, network firewalls, or endpoint, and all these three systems will generate their independent logs. But when it comes to the security analyst or the cybersecurity analyst, it would be difficult for him or her to analyze that particular log, or maybe it would be time consuming. By the time he comes to a conclusion, the attack or the incident would already been happened. So at that point of time, this SIEM tool comes into picture. It makes that task or that processing easy for that analyst. It collects all the logs from all those three devices and tries to relate it with the IP addresses, with the MAC address, with the traffic that particular ransomware or the cyber attack has taken within the organization, and then gives a readable or understandable dashboard or template to the analyst, which makes his or her task easy to take a decision that what should be the next precautionary measure, or as a control that needs to be implemented. So yeah, as you can see, this particular dashboard, this SOC, log collection, reporting, research and development, threat intelligence, knowledge-based ticketing, SIM. So SIM is the one of the key component here, which is a tool, and there are different vendors in the market, say ArcSight or RSA, Archer, then there are other tools as well. And so working of this is like aggregation and correlation. As you understand the word, it aggregates all the logs that has been generated from different information sources, and then tries to correlate it, which helps in it understanding easily. With that, it keeps that thing on continuous basis. So that at times there are certain false positive as well, which the SIM tool, which it will conduct or understand it as a potential attack, But as an analyst, you'll try to figure it out that what is the source of it, and then come to a conclusion that is it a false positive or a false negative. With that, threat intelligence, so it with every attack, with every incident, it keeps on updating itself. Like say for an example, as an artificial intelligence. So every input it has, based on that, it builds its own logic or algorithm, and then tries to update itself with the current trends that is going in the market, or which is also applicable as an organization. And when these incidents or these alerts are generated, it is probably converted into a ticket with the help of ticketing tool, which helps in proper tracking with the for the analyst. So Ravin sir, if you can give me the sharing right, I would like to
Yes, sir.
show a video on SEIM tool.
Give me a minute, please. Oh, I should make you a host every time, basically. Pardon me for that. Yes, sir. You are the host. Now you can share your screen. I'll stop my share.
Thank you.
Please go ahead, sir. ACIM is a next step, but yes, definitely we have to learn those as well. No problem. Any confusion, please do ask questions, right? I can understand. We are all learning. Are you able to share, or are you having problem in sharing? Anuj sir? Oh, I think he stepped out or something. Might be some internet problem. These things do happen. Okay, so where were I? Yes. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Or
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
okay. So let's let Anuj sir join again. Might be some internet problem. These things do happen. So we had look at this SOC team, right? Now SOC is basically a department, vertical, or a business unit. Again, these are depending upon the adaptability of the organizations who have started working, right? So yes, let me make Anuj sir as a co-host. He's still joining. Anuj sir as a co-host. Make a co-host. Yes. So, SOCs are basically most commonly found in industry of healthcare, every industry, not these ones only. But yeah, these are prominently called them SOC. That's why I mentioned these examples like healthcare, education, finance, e-commerce, government specifically, the military operation and advanced technology, companies as well, like the IT companies.
I am sorry, I lost the connection in between.
What happens, sir? So,
Okay.
could you
Ravin
start?
sir, I'll share you. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not able to share my screen. There's some system issue.
No, I'm made.
Yeah, please. Sorry, you're saying something?
Could you try one more time?
Um, no, I don't think that would work out. I have some issue with my system.
Oh, okay. So could you please share with me so that I can, is it a video or something?
No, it just yeah. Let me share you on WhatsApp. You can play it there.
Sure, no problem. By the time, let's continue. Let's try to complete these two slides, and then we can work on that basically. Okay, no problem. Could you see my SOC departmental screen, department vertical, or business unit? Analyzing, organizing, and monitoring. Like we've seen that protect, detect, and prevent. Here are other three words which are normally used, like analyze, organize, and monitor. So either way, whatever word you choose, the most important thing is periodically you need to do those things. And there is Like you have these audit, analysis, and understand, and then address these things in a periodic, iterative manner. Businesses that rely on large amount of highly sensitive data and have plenty of financial resources should consider developing SOC. So this is what we are trying to do, justification of SOC. Now, what does SOC comprise? What type of departments do they have, right? So one department can be reporting department. This department can generate reports mostly every minute, every hour, every day. And these reports are marked for any non-normal instance. Like there are challenge in terms of this is not normal. There's a request from Ravindra from India checking about a facility in my banking, and he keep doing that thing every day or every alternate day. These type of non-ordinary things will get reported and normally what we call escalated by analyst. Now these analysts, again, we are trying to understand these roles and the responsibility as well in a SOC departmental workings way, right? So here we are trying to have a analyst or security analyst, as we normally labeled, analyze these logs, analyze these reports given by these automated system, telling like Ravindra from India is trying to access such and such data of your bank, and why, I don't know why he keeps trying to think daily, alternative, and all those things. If Ravindra is your customer, then it's okay. I think a customer might have access to his or her own personal data, so that's not very abnormal. But yes, the frequency might be abnormal, but let's wait for a couple of weeks again, and then we might check with him what's wrong with him or something like that, right? So these type of things which come out of reporting, which are get analyzed every minute, every day. These security analysts do analyze this report every day, every hour of the day. Then we have a research and development. Anything which you can add in terms of the local regional instances, like we might have find other bank have been hacked through some email phishing or something like that. So what I'll do, I'll have my research department to research through that instance, find out what it can affect us if I'm the bank just sitting besides that bank. Or even something like, if there's an instance happen in, let's say, Barnes and Nobles, and I have a small nook and corner gift shop, I'll check what happens at Barnes and Noble, and it shouldn't affect me, or it shouldn't basically, the same incidents might not get repeated at my store as well. So like this, I might have a single member doing this research and development in terms of trying to understand or trying to guide me how this happens. So what I'll do, I'll have a cybersecurity expert, cybersecurity consultant, cybersecurity analyst employed on hourly basis. So that person might spend 3 hours per week for my nook and corner store. Believe me, this is the real scenario today. In terms of, if you have your brand locally, you might get what you can say, club with the local nook and corner shops, trying to advise them in terms of their secure way of business, securing their data, replicating their data, addressing on disaster recovery kind of scenario. Believe me, and you can start earning out of out of your job as well. You might work from your home all the time, and you keep getting these monthly consultancy fees. You might have a yearly contract, you might have a 6-monthly contract with such places, and you keep building their such threat intelligence system. Believe me, this is a real practical job, and job roles got invented in last few years. And these are normally called as cybersecurity consultant, cybersecurity analyst for these small businesses or very small businesses. Or in North American governmental labels, these are called SMEs, small and medium scale businesses. Now even North American government are been recognizing such consultant. They have a library of regional such consultant, where you can also encroach your state municipality office and check with them how you can be their as an, one of the cybersecurity expert or one of the becoming cybersecurity experts, the way you like to put yourself. Again, these are all new jobs. These are all new modern techniques to earn machine from your home rather than searching for jobs. Believe me, there are 4 such individuals which are doing that, and specifically these ladies. One of the lady was just a tutor in a primary school. I believe in one of the suburb of Connecticut, and she is now a really good consultant. She earns not very big amounts, but at least I believe around $1,000 per month kind of scenario. She has been engaged with around 15 to 20 such shops, and she is getting a pretty amount out of their kitty, saying, okay, now please do this, please do that. She is connected with the local weather center also, so they give her a warning in terms of snow, in terms of these rainy things, heavy rains and something like that. And she intimates her clients, saying, hey boss, there's a heavy rain coming. So have you secured your, all those entities you kept outside your, shop? Please bring them in, because there'll be a rain coming to, you in next 3 hours, 4 hours or something like that. And this is also part of overall SOC thought processes. And this is what we call proactive threat intelligence building. Now these job roles, you have to go to these places and talk to them. Hey, this is what I do. Do you need my services? I can work with you on $50 per month. This is not that big, right? But the assets he are securing it at much larger value. He is saving around $1,000 per month by himself, giving you 50. Believe me, this is a real scenario, and this is how you capture your knowledge, how you build your thought process, how you start earning better dollar day by day. This is how I want you to kickstart your thought process of building those initial cybersecurity plan, and then we build the technical plans, and you can showcase your thought process to such guys, and they will believe you. Believe me, this is how it happens in a real practical way. Build your knowledge base, address these thought processes, make your notes and write down how you can make his or her shop secure. It starts from your home. You have to secure your home first, and then start applying those similar scenario to the other nook and corner shop and start charging them lower amount. Might be $50 a month could be a start, or $100 a month could be a start, and so on and so forth. And this is how we keep building our profile as an independent cybersecurity consultant, independent cybersecurity analyst, and these are the real world which we use in our day-to-day life. Then ticketing. What is ticketing? Any such any such instances which is out of ordinary can be called as a ticket to be examined, ticket to be analyzed, ticket to be built with incident response in case it has damaged something. The other SEIM is what Anuj sir will explain in a minute, where we build a department within SOC which talks about incidents response. How do you respond to an incident where some cybersecurity analysts feel, yes, we should analyze this further, we should build a response to this further. Think of it, a dog coming through your fence in the night, and the motion sensor gone off, and woke up 10 different people saying, hey, there's a breakage in your fence. This has happened automatically, but still the humans got woken up and they made it to a response. So what we need to do to the SEIM team, basically we'll address this thing like, oh, it was a dog, so our motion sensor should be triggered this way, like, yes, there's a small breakage, so could we send a person, or could we just analyze that image? Oh, it's a dog, so yes, we need to get that dog out of our fence. But yes, it means that this can be broken by even human or a persons with the wrong intention as well. So how do you do that? You build a response to that and make sure such things don't happen again. Are you with me? Means, could you understand what I'm trying to say here? How we build this incident response?
Yes,
Please,
yes.
can you repeat again SEIM? Please, can you go through SEIM?
Yes, I'll have Anuj sir. Okay, let me check out if he have shared those. Give me a minute, please. Yes. Yeah. Okay, he've shared another good video where I'll play that video for you, and I'll have Anuj sir explain these things. Okay. These are really good video we search and find for you so that you can understand from different trainers also. Okay, let me pause the recording. We do